Hey, I'm Steve Vignanti here at ATI Performance Products with JC with something very cool for people who still want to run an automatic transmission in their muscle car, racer, SUV, whatever it might be. Now, we all know that the GM 4L85E is a very strong 4-speed automatic transmission, but for people with Fords and Chryslers and Toyotas even, adapting this transmission's been a problem until now. What have you guys done?
Yeah, we really took everything we've learned from the Turbo 400 and the high-performance world and all of our bolt-on bell and flex plate and crank adapter packages and incorporated them into this unit. So we took the 4L85E as a base because it is as strong as you can get, and we took that one step farther. So starting here, this particular unit's for a big block Ford with the bolt-on SFI bell and a simple adapter, and we really run through the whole unit, and we have different lengths. We can easily adapt it if you're really tight on space and you're doing a regular Chevy package but you want overdrive. We're 1 inch longer than your standard 400 with your overdrive. So we started in the back, and we can do a 300M output shaft for strength. Then we put a roller bearing in the case, which isn't factory. We can do a 6-pinion 210 low gear set. You don't really use first and second gear at the drag strip, or it's useless in a lot of these cars with horsepower. So the 210, you're able to launch in low gear, control the wheel speed, and get the car moving. Then you've got a 140 second gear to really run the car out, your third gear to make the pass. Then when you drive home, you've got a solid overdrive and up to a 3-friction clutch in the torque converter itself for the horsepower. So we've got 300M main shafts, and one of the biggest things we developed is the direct drum here, which is a 4 pounds lighter than stock, and it's not a new part, but we have a steel sleeve on the outside of it so you can maintain your engine braking when the car itself or you're downshifting, coming to a stoplight or cruising around without wearing out the aluminum drum. And the weight taken off of that part's important for the overall life because the sprag, which has to instantaneously stop the drum, has 4 pounds less to do it with. So we've got a full complement of valve bodies, from trans brake to fully electronic to full manual function, Moroso sheet metal pan. Really just wanted to put everything we could do into different length packages for the customer, the hot rodder, the guy with a late model Camaro that wants to drag race it and still drive it home.
In modern muscle cars, we have 6, 8, and even 10-speed transmissions. But the thing to remember is a lot of that is done so the OE manufacturers can get fuel economy and things that hot rodders don't have to think about. So it's pretty much a misnomer to think that you need 10 speeds. 4 is fine, right? 4 speeds is fine?
The guy that's drag racing, which that's what we do. We do drag racing for 99% of our business. A nice 3-speed transmission, I say 4, you get 4 with overdrive, but 3-speed gets you from A to B all the time, and it is fast. You don't want to go into overdrive at wide open throttle, really, in under any situation. The overdrive section of the transmission are these little baby clutches, and we have increased them. We have increased the line pressure, but if you have a 1,500 horsepower car trying to go into overdrive wide open, it's not a good idea. So use those 3 to get down the racetrack. Then you can drive normal. You can have your overdrive and cruise home at a decent RPM at 70 miles an hour.
And remember, too, a drag strip is a quarter mile, 1,320 feet, so you really can't use more than 3 gears or so going down the track. But again, the trip home or things like the Hot Rod Magazine Power Tour, I'm sure this transmission is hugely popular with folks who hit the road with their muscle cars, right?
Yeah, well, we have some guys that are doing these and then going one step farther and putting another overdriver on the back with a gear vendor, or they're doing a Turbo 400 with a gear vendor so that they can have the absolute big horsepower durability of the transmission and still cruise at a lower RPM.
That's a great thing. Again, the 4L85E for GM and Ford and Chrysler. And what are some of the unusual bell?
Yeah, we can bolt this up with our adapter kit to a brand new GTR Nijssen with the VR38 engine, TB48 Patrol, Toyota Supra, you name it. If there's an adapter kit or we make a bell for it, we can bolt it up for you.
Well, I know that ATI has been around for an awfully long time. Of course, Automatic Transmissions Incorporated is the name, but you guys also do a lot with dampers on the front of the engine. What's new?
Yeah, the ATI Super Damper is really a great product for us. We make it all in-house. It does exactly what it's supposed to, and it's just a proper functioning part. And this year we finished the L86 truck damper. We've got OEM size and underdrive sizes for that to bolt on, and then you can bolt on 8 10-groove pulleys that we already make for overdrive. You put a supercharger on it, and it becomes a 4-belt system for that. And then the Camaro SS, we put it out after PRI last year, so it's been around, but we're really able to adopt that also in the new CTSV with the bolt-on pulleys, and again cover a wide range of blower pulleys. So we've got OEM through, I believe, 18% overdrive for the CTSV, which is the LT4 wet sump application, and the Camaro SS with the LT1 application.
For a viewer who may not understand, he just bought a new Camaro, got the V8, he loves the car. Why might he want to upgrade his damper?
Sure. We really don't meet many people that say, I've got too much horsepower, I want to get rid of some. So as they do bolt-ons and different items, when the factory damper was conceived and put on the engine, the engineers sourced that and tuned that damper to work in a range that they considered the driver would always drive it. When you go and let's say either you're tracking the car, your performance, or maybe you're like me and like 0 to 60 at every stoplight, then it's outside of that range and the damper, is it working? Yes, and maybe you'll never notice anything, but it's incrementally gets harder and harder on the engine because the damper can't do its job. So the super damper, having 2 different diameters in one and having 2 different durometer O-rings in one, really can cover a wide range, twice the range of the factory damper. So that's just something to consider as you maybe drive your car differently, or you decide to road race it a lot, or you bolt on different upgrades from exhaust to a supercharger. That's where you get outside the window of the factory damper.
And when you talk about that, most engineers, they have to design stuff for mass consumption and the widest possible range. And again, like you say, they optimize for one area, which they assume is probably highway driving, whereas if you spend more time racing on a track or the strip, you can get in some vibrational areas that the factory didn't think of.
Right, like the L86, the truck engine, they assume that people will be a 1,500 to maybe a 3,000 RPM range, but then let's say you take that engine or you buy a crate engine and you're going to stick it in your street rod or hot rod. Well, the damper hasn't changed. It stayed the same. You're going to drive it well outside of where that damper was designed for. So it's stuff you don't ever think about. For those reasons, that's the super damper really covers all of it.
I know too, a lot of the factory dampers aren't even degreed for ignition timing, right? And yours are?
Yeah, we have a keyway in all of our dampers, and we have a pin kit that you slide over the crank, and you can drill and ream a hole to put a 3/16 heat treated pin in, and pick up cylinder number 1, and you can have your timing marks all the way around.
Well, JC, how can our viewers learn more about ATI products?
ATIracing.com, or check us out on Facebook. We try to keep everybody updated. Sign up for a catalog. We send them out twice a year, and we're here to help everybody with that stuff. Whether you have our products or not, we like to share information and help everybody get the right parts for their car.
I gotta say, JC, this opened my eyes. I'm a Mopar guy, and this means I can now mount a 4L85E in my vintage Roadrunner if I want to. Good stuff, right here at SEMA.